This story isn't about someone else anymore. This time, it's mine. Hey Reddit, I've been a long-time lurker. For years, I'd scroll through this sub reading story after story, cheating, betrayals, double lives. And I'd always think, that sucks. But that's never gonna be me. Well, here I am, I'm 34. My wife, let's call her Emily, is 32. We met at a friend's backyard barbecue in Austin, Texas. Back in the summer of 2016. She showed up wearing a ripped denim skirt, a vintage band tee, and this ridiculously confident smile that made it feel like the world paused when she walked in. I was hooked before she even opened her mouth. She was sharp, sarcastic. The kind of East Coast blunt that throws you off but somehow pulls you in. I'm more reserved or quiet. Coffee-addicted software dev who doesn't usually talk much at parties. But that night, we clicked. We ended up sitting on the hood of my car until 3 a.m. sipping gas station Slurpees. Talking about music, politics, trauma, the future. Everything just flowed. Fast forward 2 years, we got married. Bought a modest house just outside Austin. Got a golden retriever, named him Moose. She landed a killer job at a marketing startup that later took off. I was working remotely in tech, doing fine. We were that couple. The ones with the cozy house, the solid incomes, weekend getaways to Nashville or Santa Fe. And I genuinely believed we were good. Sure, we had our bumps, who doesn't? COVID hit us hard, like everyone else. We fought. We got through it. By last year, we were even talking about trying for a baby in 2024. She always said, "You're my person." And I believed her, but now, looking back, there were cracks, little things, tiny inconsistencies that didn't mean much at the time. The way she started guarding her phone more, taking late calls for work, getting distant, forgetting inside jokes, not laughing at my dumb stories like she used to. I didn't push, I trusted her. That trust was the hill I was willing to die on. And maybe that was my biggest mistake. Funny how you only start noticing the red flags when it's already too late. Before that, they are just noise. Background static. But then suddenly, they click into place. And they make you sick. The first time something really felt off was after we came back from a weekend trip to Santa Fe. Normally after those kinds of trips, we'd crash at home for a day or two. Order takeout, binge some Netflix, cuddle up with Moose. But not this time. That Sunday, she got up early, like 7 a.m., and said she had to go into the office. I looked at her and said, "Since when do you go in on weekends? You've always said weekends are sacred." She just shrugged. Big campaign deadline. Just a couple hours. That was the first data point. Nothing major. Just weird. She used to bring her laptop home. Now suddenly she had to go in. Then there were the late Zoom calls. She started taking them outside, on the balcony, in the car, wherever I wasn't. Always with her AirPods in. Said the team was testing a new structure. One night, I caught part of her conversation as she walked past the kitchen. "You're an idiot. If I wanted to, I would have done it already." I stood still. I didn't say anything. It could have been about work. It sounded like work. Emily was always blunt. Snarky. That's her style. But still, it didn't sit right. Then came Friday. We were at Walmart, doing a normal grocery run. She was putting stuff in the cart, I was at the car loading bags into the trunk. Her phone buzzed. I wasn't trying to look, I swear. But the screen lit up just enough. Message preview said, "How are you today? I've been thinking about you." No name. Just a blank contact icon. She snatched the phone up like it was on fire, tapped the screen, and mumbled, "Spam. Probably a scam text." And that was it. I didn't say anything on the ride home. She kept talking about some new client. I don't remember a word. That message kept playing on repeat in my head. "I've been thinking about you." At 10:48 a.m. On a Friday. Who sends that to a married woman? And why did she act like she'd been caught red-handed? That night, while she was in the shower, I sat on the couch with her MacBook. The password was still the same. Moose 2018. It used to be the name of our dog and our wedding year. Sweet, right? I hesitated. My stomach felt like it was folding in on itself. I knew I was crossing a line. But something inside me had already snapped. I opened her email. Her Slack. Instagram DMS. Nothing obvious until I found it. A draft email saved in her Gmail. No recipient. No subject. Just text. I don't know how to tell him. He doesn't deserve to get hurt. But I can't live in this lie anymore. There's this moment when you stop doubting them and start doubting yourself. Like, am I just paranoid? Overreacting? Going crazy? I wanted so badly to believe that I was overthinking. But then, she slipped. The morning after I read that draft email, I didn't say a word. We had breakfast like nothing happened. Pancakes. Coffee. She kissed me on the cheek and left for work. I wanted to scream. I wanted to flip the table over. Hold the laptop in her face and shout, "What is this?" But I didn't. Because part of me still hoped I was wrong. Still clinging to this idea that maybe, there's some explanation. Spoiler, there wasn't. That evening, she texted me at 6:41 p.m. "Hey, I'm grabbing drinks with Claire and Jess after work. Don't wait up. Love you." Claire and Jess are her two best friends from college. They've known each other forever. But here's the thing. Jess lives in Denver. Claire moved to Chicago. Neither of them were in Austin. I double-checked their Instagram stories. Both posted earlier that day, very much not in Texas. So I texted back casually. "Oh, nice. Didn't know the girls were in town. Where you guys headed?" It took her 17 minutes to reply. "Oh, not them. Just co-workers with the same names. Inside joke LOL. That didn't even make sense. She never mentioned any co-workers named Claire or Jess. Ever. And what kind of inside joke is that? That's when the pit in my stomach became a full-blown cavern. She lied. And not even well. Like she didn't think I'd check. Like she wanted me to find out. Or maybe she just stopped caring. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch with Moose curled up at my feet, staring at the wall in the dark. I wasn't hurt. Not yet. I was just empty. Frozen. It wasn't about cheating anymore. It was about the fact that she looked me in the eye and chose to lie with ease. Like she'd done it before. There's suspecting. There's reading between the lines. And then there's seeing it. When you finally catch reality in 4K. No more excuses. No more hoping. No more lies. It was a Friday. She left for yoga class around 6 p.m. She'd recently started going twice a week. Tuesdays and Fridays, and made it clear she liked going alone. Said it was her me time. Respected that. This time, though, I felt something different. She was dressed in her usual leggings and hoodie. But when she thought I wasn't looking, I saw her slip a small makeup bag into her tote. Emily never wears makeup to yoga. She left. And I sat there on the couch for a full 30 minutes, debating. I felt pathetic, insecure, toxic, like the cliché jealous husband. But that draft email. That fake story about Claire and Jess. The message. My heart was pounding so hard I felt it in my throat. I grabbed my keys, got in the car, and drove. She always went to a yoga studio downtown on South Lamar. I parked across the street. Waited. 6:45. 7 o'clock. 7:15. No sign of her. At 7:22 p.m., I saw her. But she wasn't alone. She was walking out of a restaurant. Not a studio. Not a gym. A rooftop bar. She was laughing. Next to her was a guy mid-30s. Tall, tattered arms, business casual shirt. He had his hand on her lower back. She didn't pull away. She leaned into it. They didn't kiss. But they didn't need to. Everything in their body language screamed this isn't just friends. I didn't confront her. Didn't follow. Didn't cry. I just sat there in my car in a Whole Foods parking lot. And watched her leave with him. She didn't see me. Or maybe she did. I don't know. But that image is burned into me. Her laugh. His hand. The way she looked at him like I didn't exist anymore. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't even speak. I just shut down. There's a kind of anger that doesn't look like rage. It looks like silence. I got home around 9 p.m. Emily wasn't back yet. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the carpet. Lights off. Just me and Moose lying next to my feet. I replayed it all in my head, her body language, the touch, the smile she gave him. That look. A look I hadn't seen in months. A look I thought she had simply lost. Turns out, she just gave it to someone else. She came home at 9:48. I heard her keys in the door. Her usual toss of the bag onto the chair. Her shoes kicked off in the hallway. She walked into the bedroom. Still in her leggings and hoodie. Pretending nothing happened. Hey, she said casually, yoga ran late. We did this long stretching cool down thing. My back is killing me. I looked at her. She smiled. Kissed me on the forehead. I didn't say a word. I nodded. That's all. Just a nod. She didn't notice. Or didn't care. She went to shower. I stayed sitting there, same position, hands locked together. My whole body was buzzing, like static. Like I couldn't move. I didn't sleep that night. I laid in bed next to her, wide awake, eyes open in the dark. Listening to her breathe. She slept like a baby. As if nothing was wrong. I kept thinking. What the hell do I do now? What am I supposed to say? Do I even want to hear her explain? There's this weird space between discovery and confrontation. You know the truth. But the second you say it out loud, everything changes. You can't go back. And I wasn't ready. Not yet. There's a difference between knowing and saying it out loud. The second you speak it, you can't unhear it. You can't undo it. So I waited. But not for long. It was the next evening. Saturday. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I hadn't slept. I hadn't eaten. I was a walking nerve ending. She was making dinner. Tofu stir-fry, her go-to lazy night meal. Moose was asleep under the table. I was standing by the counter, watching her chop vegetables like nothing happened. And I just said it. How was yoga yesterday? She didn't even look up. Good. We did this deep hip opening flow, my legs are dead. I nodded slowly. Then. You were at the Hideaway rooftop bar. With a guy. I saw you. She froze. Knife midair. Then she put it down carefully and turned to face me. What are you talking about? I didn't blink. Didn't raise my voice. Just said. You left at 6. I followed you. You weren't at yoga. You were laughing with some guy at a bar. He touched you. You didn't stop him. Silence. She looked at me like I was a stranger. And then she lied. That was just someone from work. We grabbed a drink to talk about a project. It wasn't a date. Her voice was calm. Too calm. I said nothing. She kept going. You followed me. That's seriously messed up, my name. You don't trust me at all. That's when I laughed. A short, bitter, broken laugh. You're right. I don't. She started crying. Said I was blowing things out of proportion. Said it wasn't what it looked like. That I was making assumptions. And then she slipped. She said, "He means nothing to me." Pause. Silence. She knew it too. I looked her in the eye and said, "You just admitted it." She went pale. Sat down. Put her hands over her face. I stood there for another full minute. Then I walked out of the kitchen, closed the bedroom door, and locked it. When someone confesses, you expect to feel relief. Closure. But it's not relief. It's grief. Because the moment you hear the truth, the version of your life you believed in dies. She knocked on the bedroom door twice. Didn't say anything. Just knocked. I didn't answer. 10 minutes later, she knocked again. Then said, "Can we talk, please?" Her voice was small. Almost scared. I opened the door. She was standing there. No makeup, oversized hoodie. Hugging herself like she was cold. We sat down on opposite sides of the bed. Silence stretched between us like a canyon. Then she said it. I didn't plan for this to happen. I didn't respond. Just stared at her. She kept going. Like someone pressing play on a confession sheet. Rehearsed in her head 100 times. It started a few months ago. We were working late. One night we went out for drinks. I was drunk and I don't know. It just happened. She couldn't look at me. I thought it was a one-time mistake. But it didn't stop. I kept going back. I asked one question. Why? She hesitated. Then. Because with him. I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. I felt wanted. I felt seen. And with you. I just felt like I was someone's wife. Someone's plan. I nodded. That hurt more than the cheating. More than the sex. It meant she hadn't felt us in a long time and never said a word. She asked if she loved him. She said no. She asked if she loved me. She said, "I don't know." There it was. The real answer. The one that finally cracked whatever was left of me. We sat in silence again. She cried. I didn't. Because I wasn't shocked anymore. I was just done. You think the worst part is finding out. It's not. The worst part is the silence that comes after. The kind where no one yells. No one cries. No one says a damn word. 3 days. That's how long we lived in the same house after her confession. Without really speaking. We still did things. We ate food. We fed moose. We brushed our teeth. We shared the same space. But not the same world. She slept in the guest room. I stayed in ours. The bed suddenly felt too big. The air too heavy. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was loaded. Like standing in a room full of explosives, waiting for someone to strike a match. She tried, a couple times. Knocked softly. Asked if I wanted to talk more. Said she could explain. I told her there was nothing else I needed to hear. And I meant it. At one point, I walked into the kitchen and found her crying at the table. She had her phone in her hands, screen turned off. Just staring at nothing. I didn't ask. Didn't comfort her. I just poured coffee and left the room. There were moments I looked at her and thought, I don't even recognize you. But the truth is, I didn't recognize myself either. I'd never felt so cold. So empty. So numb. The thing about betrayal isn't just what someone did. It's what it kills inside you. The safety. The softness. The belief that you matter to someone. I didn't cry. Not because I was strong, but because I had nothing left to give. Some people say, if you already know the truth, don't go looking for more. I couldn't do that. I needed to see the whole picture. Even if it broke me. On the 4th day of silence, something snapped inside me. I was sitting at the dining table, staring at a cold cup of coffee, and I thought, how long has this been going on? What else don't I know? Was anything ever real? So I started searching. I began with her iPad. It was still synced with her iCloud. She hadn't logged out. First, photos. Hidden album. Screenshots. Selfies she never sent me. One from a hotel room I didn't recognize. Her hair was wet. Bathrobe. Champagne glass in the corner. The date. 2 months ago. The same weekend she said she was visiting her sister in Dallas. Then I opened her messages. iMessage. Instagram. Slack. She had deleted most of them. But not all. One thread stood out under a fake name. Let's call him Zach. No profile photo. But I could read the tone. Flirty, intimate, familiar. Wish you were here right now. You make me feel like myself again. He has no idea, does he? Every message was like a hit to the chest. There was even a calendar invite. Dinner reservation for 2. Booked under her name. The same night she told me she was working late and brought home leftovers to keep the lie going. Then I checked our shared Google account. She had disabled location sharing a few weeks ago. That detail nearly broke me. Not because of what it meant, but because of how precise it was. Planned. Systematic. She didn't just betray me, she erased me from the narrative. I sat in that chair for hours. Just scrolling. Reading. Putting pieces together. Every business trip. Every girls' night. Every unexplained smile when checking her phone. Everything started to make sense. But the worst part? It wasn't the sex. It wasn't even the lies. It was that she had a whole life I wasn't part of. And she didn't seem to miss me in it. You can only hold it in for so long. The silence becomes unbearable. The weight gets heavier. Eventually, you either break. Or you tell someone. I didn't plan it. It just came out. My brother called to check in. He lives in Portland. We don't talk often, but he's a good guy, solid, grounded, always chill. I think he just wanted to catch up. Talk fantasy football or some dumb podcast. But when I picked up the phone, I couldn't fake it. He said, "Dude, you sound like shit. Everything okay?" And I just sat there. Phone pressed to my ear. Eyes locked on nothing. Then I said, "Emily cheated on me." Silence. Then, "What?" I repeated it. Slower this time. "She's been cheating on me. I found out last week." She admitted it. He didn't ask for details. Didn't say, "Are you sure?" Didn't try to calm me down. He just said, "Jesus Christ, man." That one sentence shattered me. Because it was real now. Spoken. Heard. Witnessed. And suddenly I wasn't just a guy spiraling in his own head. I was a man whose wife cheated. And now someone else knew. He asked where I was staying. I said I was still at the house. That we hadn't decided what's next. He paused. "You need to leave, man. Not for her. For you." That hit hard. Because it wasn't about punishment. It was about dignity. We talked for over an hour. He didn't try to fix it. He just listened. And near the end, he said something that stuck with me. "You're allowed to be broken. Just don't disappear inside it." That night, I slept on the couch again. But for the first time in over a week, I didn't feel completely alone. There's a difference between being hurt and being done. Filing for divorce wasn't an emotional decision. It was a survival instinct. 2 days after talking to my brother, I booked a consult with a divorce attorney. It was a quiet Tuesday morning. She was in the guest room, pretending to work remotely. I sat in the backyard with my laptop, watching squirrels eat our bird seed. 20 minutes into the call, I knew. This wasn't salvageable. Even if she begged. Even if I still loved her and I wasn't sure if I did, there was no trust left. And no trust means no future. The lawyer was calm. Professional. He'd seen it all before. He asked, "Do you want to pursue fault-based or no fault?" I said, "No fault. I'm not trying to destroy her. I just want out." And I meant it. That afternoon, I printed the papers. I didn't tell her. I didn't hint. I just left them on the kitchen table with a note. "We both know it's over. These are the next steps." She found them around 6 p.m. I was upstairs folding laundry when I heard her come in. There was a long silence. Then the sound of paper rustling. Then footsteps. She didn't cry. Didn't scream. Didn't beg. She stood in the doorway and said, "So, that's it." I looked at her and replied, "It has to be." She nodded once. Like she already knew. Like she'd been waiting for me to say it. Then she walked away. No fight. No, please don't. Just quiet acceptance. And somehow, that hurt more than anything. Because it confirmed what I feared. She had already let me go long before I found out. I thought silence was the worst part. Turns out emptiness is worse. No noise. No lies. Just me and a house that feels way too big. She moved out on a Saturday. No drama. No shouting. Just boxes, taped quietly, carried to the trunk of her friend's SUV. I didn't help. I didn't stop her. We barely spoke. When she left, she hugged Moose. Then looked at me and said, "I'm sorry." I didn't answer. Just nodded. Then the door closed. The house changed instantly. Not physically. But the air felt thinner. The light, colder. I stood in the hallway for 20 minutes. Staring at the spot where her shoes used to be. Then I sat on the floor. And stayed there until it got dark. The first night alone was the hardest. I cooked pasta. Ate 3 bites. Watched a show we used to watch together. Turned it off after 5 minutes. Moose climbed onto the couch with me. That was the only part that felt normal. At 2:17 a.m., I stood in the kitchen, drinking water straight from the jug, and realized, I have no idea who I am without her. The days blended. I'd wake up early. Walk the dog. Avoid the bedroom. Avoid mirrors. Work from the kitchen table. Go to bed exhausted, but unable to sleep. I kept hearing things that weren't there. The door creaking. Her laugh. The buzz of her phone. Ghosts of a life that ended, but hadn't left yet. And yet, somewhere inside the stillness, I felt something else. Not peace. Not hope. But space. Like maybe, just maybe, there's room now for something new. Something that starts with me. Healing doesn't start with some big dramatic moment. It starts when you do the laundry. When you water a plant. When you remember to eat. And for a second, just 1 second, it doesn't hurt. 2 weeks after she left, I went for a run. I don't even like running. But I needed to feel something. Anything. So I laced up a pair of old sneakers and ran until my lungs burned. I didn't have a plan. Didn't track it. Just moved. When I got back, I stood on the porch. Covered in sweat, heart pounding, and smiled. It wasn't much. But it was mine. The next day, I cleaned out the bedroom. Stripped the bed. Packed up the last of her stuff she'd forgotten, a scarf. A bottle of perfume, 1 sock with stars on it. Put it all in a box. Taped it shut. Left it in the garage. Then I bought new sheets. Dark gray. Clean. Unshared. I started making smoothies in the mornings. Put music on while I worked. Stopped checking her Instagram. Deleted the hidden photo album. Even made a therapy appointment. Did I still think about her? every day. But the difference now? I wasn't waiting for her. I made a list one night. Not of goals. Just reminders. You are not broken. You are allowed to miss her and still move on. You are not less of a man because she left. You are still you. I hung it on the fridge. Right next to Moose's vaccination chart. The pain is still there. But now, it's not the only thing I feel. Sometimes, I even feel calm. Like I'm finally starting to breathe again. I didn't plan it. I wasn't ready for it. But it happened like life does. Quietly. Without music or warning. I was grabbing coffee on a random Thursday. Small cafe near my apartment. Same place I go when I want to be around people but not with people. I had just picked up my order when I heard a voice behind me say, "Hey." I turned. And there she was. Emily. She looked different. Not worse. Not better. Just smaller. Like someone who had been compressed by time. Same green eyes. Same hair. But something in her posture had changed. She wasn't the storm I remembered. She was a person. A human. Not a wound. Not a ghost. Just her. We both stood there in silence. She smiled. Nervously. I nodded. Then she asked, "How have you been?" Simple. Casual. I answered. Better. And I meant it. She looked down at her cup. Then up at me. "You look good." I thanked her. Asked how Moose's old toy was, the fox he used to carry everywhere. She smiled at that. I kept it. That was the moment I realized. There was still tenderness. But no ache. We didn't say much else. She had to go. I did too. No dramatic goodbye. No what if. Just a soft, "Take care." And you too. As I walked away, I felt not broken. Not victorious. Just whole. Like I'd been holding my breath for months. And finally, I let it go. People love redemption arcs. They want the ending to be clean. Tied up with a bow. This isn't that. This is real. And it's mine. It's been 6 months since the day I found out. I still live in the same place. Still walk Moose every morning. Still make the same coffee. But I'm not the same man. Not even close. Some days are quiet. Some are heavy. But most are okay. I started therapy. Picked up running again. Got back into photography, something I let go of years ago. I even joined a trivia team. We came in last. Twice. Didn't care. I've stopped replaying it all. Stopped wondering what she's doing. Or who she's with. Because that chapter ended. And the longer I stare at it, the more I realize it never defined me. I'm not perfect. I have trust issues now. Walls I didn't have before. But I'm aware of them. And I'm working through it. Day by day. The biggest thing I've learned. You don't need closure from the person who hurt you. You close it yourself. By waking up. By choosing yourself. By deciding that your worth doesn't come from someone else's loyalty. So, to anyone reading this, wondering if it gets better. It doesn't happen all at once. But yes. It does. You won't forget. But you will grow. And one day, without even noticing, you'll wake up and realize you're free.